ever, so I don't know what has ever happened. If it's always been there, or if it just popped up. And for those of you that like to work ahead, the next sections where the homework will be posted by this afternoon. You see right here? I told you this was -0. So if you're saying -0, it shouldn't, but if it does. Well, like the one I have right here in my hand does not have the negative in it. But the one that whoever showed it to me has a negative in it. So there's no such thing as a -0. Negative is just 0. 0 doesn't have a sign. 0 is neither positive, it's not negative. Now here's a good question. Is 0 even or odd? Or neither? Even, odd, or neither? Definition of even. It's divisible by 2. 2 goes into an even. What's 0 divided by 2? 0 goes in even. 0 is even. 0 is even. 2 goes into 0, 0 times. It's even. Think about all the numbers that end in a 0. 10, 20, 30, 40. Goes in even. Not that that is really the real. I should have recorded that. Some of real mathematicians say, here you go. Okay. So no decimals. If I replace this x with 3/4 inside here, then every x gets replaced with 3/4. Now, habits, good habits. Because you're plugging in 3/4, parentheses, because you need to square x, so you need to square everything you're substituting in for x. 3/4 squared. Minus 3 times whatever x is, so minus 3 times 3/4. Now, if you just write 3/4 squared, the only thing getting squared is the 3, not the whole fraction. That's what you wrote. And even if you do the next step correctly, I'm going to take off a point because your work does not justify the answer. That's this. On a test, work does not justify your answer. If your next step is even the right number, this does not give you that answer. What you wrote does not make it happen. For instance, right here, when I substitute -3, because you're replacing x with -3, you should go parentheses -3 squared minus 3 times -3. If you write just -3 and you square it, minus 3 times -3, a -3 squared is -3 times -3. That is +9. That's +9. But if you don't put it in parentheses, this is -3 times 3. That's -9 the way you wrote it. But a lot of people just, hey, I know it's going to be squared, so I know it's going to be positive. So you just go, they just go from here to here. Because in their head, they know what to do. I'm not grading what you do in your head. Grading your paper. What you wrote, that work does not justify your answer. You're going to lose a point. Okay? Habits. It will bite you eventually. So right here, this is now G3/4. When I multiply this out, back in the previous class, there's a shortcut for this. We will revisit those shortcuts when we get to chapter 10. If you don't know the shortcut, it's okay, because you know when you square something, 3/4 times itself. Minus, this is 3/1 times 3/4. So we have g of 3 over 4 equal to multiply across 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, minus multiply across 3 times 3 is 9, 1 times 4 is 4. So 9/16 minus 9 over 4. So now you just have to do that subtraction. Now here's the difference. What I was showing you about the bonus question, when you had fractions and you had to solve, it was a solving. There was like an x over here and it was equal to something, and you undo the fraction because you're solving an equation. Here, all we're doing is simplifying. You need to subtract these two from each other. When you subtract, you need a common denominator. The common denominator for 16 and 4, the first number, the least common denominator for 16 and 4 is 16. 16 and 4 both go into 16 even. This one's good to go. It already has a 16. So the numerator is not going to change. But the 9 over 4, I need to make that 4 become a 16. To make 4 become a 16, I'm going to have to multiply the denominator by a 4. 4 times 4 will give me my 16. But if I multiply the denominator, it's going to change the fraction. So I also need to multiply the numerator by 4. 9 times 4, that's 36. 36 over 16 is the equivalent fraction of 9 over 4. It's the same ratio. But now we've got common denominators. Now, when you add or subtract fractions, you just add or subtract the numerators. It's 9 minus the 36 all over a 16. Okay? 9 is smaller than 36, so I know my answer is negative, and 9 minus 36 is 27. 9 minus 36 is 27 over 16. Always see if it can simplify. Well, the only thing, well, first of all, they're both, one's odd, one's even, so it's not 2. The only thing that can go into 16, 4 times 4, and the only thing that goes into 4 are 2s. The only thing you can reduce 16 with is the factors of 2. 27, the only thing going into 27 are 3s. 9 times 3, and what goes into 9, another 3 times 3. So there's no common factors. This is it. At the bottom of the box on your test, you would have this written. What is the final answer? Negative 27 over. Just like that. Yes. You actually said you had another question you wanted to ask. Good? Okay.
Number 1.
Number that. Perfect. Okay. Recognition. Recognize. So we're graphing. And we're graphing linear equations, lines. We know it's going to be a line. So we hope to get y equals mx plus b. So that means we want to solve for y if it's possible. Now, if it's written as a function, like 9 is, well, there's no y there, but technically f of x replaces the y. So this is the same as y equals 3 over 2 times x. So that is slope-intercept form. Y equals mx, and then your plus b. If you see nothing there, then the b would be a 0. Here you have an x and a y, so you just got to solve for y. Y equals mx plus b, and you can grab that one. This one, it's a function. We want y's. So we can replace the function notation with y equals, and then we have a negative 2. This one is not a function, but as you can see, it's an x only. This is an x only, that's a y only. When you only have an x or you only have a y, they are special cases. Horizontals or verticals. So as soon as you see it's an x by itself and there's no y, special case, you need to decide when x is by itself, you think about that x, An X is like a V that's been pulled apart from another V. And V stands for vertical. When you have an X by itself and a Y. Over here, when you have a Y by itself is like an upside down H, which stands for horizontal. Okay. So I need X equal to a constant because I need to know where am I going to graph this vertical line. I didn't give you X equals. I gave you something you have to solve for X. So you subtract 8. 3X is equal to a negative 8. Divide by 3. So we get X equals negative 8 over 3. So that means it's a vertical line through this coordinate, through that X coordinate. So now we graph. Remember, please don't worry or don't try to change the scale on the grid. Just count by 1. You don't need to count by 2s at all. Don't change the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4 goes to 7, negative 7, positive 7, negative 7. Okay. We need to know where does negative 8 over 3 go? Well, you have a calculator. If you punch 8 divided by 3 in the calculator, it gives you 2.6666 repeated. And yeah, don't forget, it's a negative. So this X is technically the same as negative 2.666 repeated. Or if you remember mixed numbers, 3 goes into 8 2 times evenly. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract, we get a remainder of 2. And then we put the remainder over the divisor, 2 2/3. Again, it's a negative. So this X would be the same as negative 2 2/3. So I'm just doing this so you can see where would I actually put the X. If that's negative 1, and that's negative 2, and that's negative 3, and that's negative 4, this fraction is going to be between what two numbers? Negative 2 and negative 3. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3 is too far, negative 2 2/3 is right about here. So there's my first point, negative, and I'm just going to go back to 8 over 3 because I like improper fractions. It's vertical, you need 2 points. You got to plot and label 2 points. There's 1. So tell me when to stop. So if I stop right there, then I'm going to make sure I got that negative 1. Then I just labeled, or I just plotted, the X is negative 8 over 3, and the Y, 1, 2, 3, the Y is negative 3. There's my 2 points. I take my straight edge, don't forget to have the straight edge out. Draw your vertical and don't forget your arrow.
Or it's just the thing, we take any 2 points.
You need any 2 points. For vertical and horizontal, because there's an infinite number, you just got to find something above and below it. What's right? Yes. Okay, number 1.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what I was.
So, no. Find the slope between or through the 2 points. So slope is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So which y, the -1 or the 3, which y do you want me to start with? So if I start with this y, 3, minus this y, parentheses, -1. So this y minus that one, over. If I started with this y from this order pair, that's my y sub 2. Then I have to start with this x from this order pair. That's my, sorry, y sub 2 is my x sub 2. This is a 5. Minus the other x, which is also a 5. So in the numerator, this becomes 3 plus 1. In the denominator, you have 5 minus 5, which is 0. So you have a slope of 4 over 0. When you have a number and you try to divide by 0, you're not allowed to divide by 0. You're not allowed to have 0 in the denominator. It's not a number. This is undefined. When 0 is in the denominator, it's undefined. 0 is in the numerator. 0 divided by any other number, as long as these aren't 0. Not talking about 0 over 0. If 0 is divided by a number other than itself, then the answer is 0. Okay. So that's that difference. Okay. That's the difference. And if you think about it, if the x's are both 5s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down here, -1, there's 1 point. 5, -1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 1, 2, 3. There's the other one, 5, positive 3. Those 2 points are one on top of the, it's a vertical line, and the slope of vertical is undefined. Okay. The slope of vertical the slope is undefined. Remember, in the alphabet, U and V are next door to each other. Buddies, undefined vertical lines are like, hey, we're going to hang out. And then when you have a horizontal line, for a horizontal line, the slope is equal to 0. And you can't spell horizontal without an O. Slope is 0. Horizontal. What else? Percent. So we've done plenty of these, and there was one on the quiz, the bonus question on the quiz. Write the equation in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, of the line described if possible. If it's not possible, use the appropriate special case notation. So the special cases, horizontal and vertical. Horizontal, y by itself, vertical, x by itself. So if you have a horizontal line, you're going to use just y equals whatever. If it's a vertical line, you're going to use x equals whatever. Right here, perpendicular to that, we did this one on Tuesday. So perpendicular to this slope would be positive 2 over 5. If I was going to do parallel, then the slope would have been negative 5 over 2 because slopes are equal for parallel. Here, you calculate the slope, y sub 2 minus y sub 1, x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Here, you're given the slope. That's not 0 or undefined, so this is not a special case. But look at the wording. Number 7. Perpendicular, okay, opposite or super. But to the y-axis. The y-axis is a special case. The y-axis is one of those horizontal or vertical lines. So if we're dealing with parallel or perpendicular to the x or the y-axis, or parallel or perpendicular to a horizontal or vertical, then our line is also a special case. draw a sketch, make a sketch, because there's no work to do. It's either going to be X equals or Y equals. So the best way to get it right is to make a sketch. So I'm just going to make a little XY axis. The Y axis is this one, up and down. It goes through the point 5, 2. 5, 2 is in quadrant 1. So I'm just going to go over 5 and up to right about there. I don't need to be, perfect. Just going to 5 to the right and 2 up. So labeling it always helps. There's 5, 2. Now, when I draw my perpendicular line to the y-axis, if I make a perpendicular, is it going to be horizontal or is it going to be vertical if it's perpendicular to the y? Is it horizontal or is it vertical? It's got to be horizontal, because if it's perpendicular, it has to intersect the y-axis and make a 90-degree angle. That's what perpendicular is. So the line that they're describing is horizontal. And if it's horizontal, that H looks like an upside down Y. So it's Y equal to a constant, Y by itself, special case. And on this line, what are all the Y's going to be? All the Y's are 2's. That's the answer. Okay. All right. So pencil, calculator, and your straight edge. Again, no phones. Phones should be put away.